Hey up, me ducks. How is everybody doing? Hope you're all doing well. Ooh, it's another hot one. Let's see who we've got in, and then we'll have a natter. So, gosh, first one in was Rob. Hello, Rob. It's nice to see you. Yeah, another week has passed. I know. Time goes by so fast. And then we've got Magus and Nika, Anne, Esco, Lily Rose, Nadine, Holly's here, Sandra, hi Sandra, MA, Artemis, Ferdiad, Golden, Lucy, and Vasco, hello, Thace, hi Thace, Tea Lady Oracle, nice to see you, Sarah, hello, and Trisha, Dawn. You got back from your holiday in Cornwall. How nice. Ferdiad says, yeah, I was going down to town today to meet a friend, but the central line was down, so he cancelled. Glad you didn't have to brave the heat. Robert, Marita, Aldermoon, Bonsai Guy, Haunted Bookstore, Will, hi Will, Dawn, Twigger, so many lovely people. Deborah, nice to see you. Rachel, Robin, Tea Lady. I think I might have said you already, but hello again. Aki, Chewy, and Elspeth. Gosh, so many people. There's 83 people here already. Nika, you're the Haunted Bookstore now. You was Nody Way, wasn't you? Is that right? Nordic Tarot. Oh, no, maybe not. Why was I thinking that you're Nody Way? Is that Nika as well? Rachel, Kathy, Elle Phillips, Claire, 24 Blue Wolves, Cheryl, hi Cheryl, Samantha, Lette Louise, Trisha, Tahiti, Metis, Forever Whereafter, and Kathy. Oh, wow, what a roll call. I hope the background noise isn't too off-putting. I've got to have the windows open. I did invest in a handheld fan today, but then I thought, would my voice sound funny through this? I'm holding it like in front of me, but this is really good. You charge it. It's got a USB charger, and there's 3 power settings on it. So you got 1, 2, 3, and it's really, really quite powerful. So every so often I might have to grab for that. They're fantastic. Yeah, John Lewis, £12 in their everyday range. So and they've got hundreds. They're really kind of capitalising on the hot weather because they've got hundreds piled high, different colours. I nearly brought an orange one. But came between. Oh, excuse me. Came down. I drank that too fast. Came down between the blue and the grey, and you can have it as a desktop one, so I can pop it next to me, switch it on, and it's keeping me cool. Or next to your bed, on your bedside table. So I think it's quite cool, quite nifty, really. Simon, I got the neck fan from John Lewis. Oh, that's the one that goes round here, isn't it? No AC. We're in the UK. I think new builds now have aircon. Not all of them still, but a friend of mine bought a brand new house about 18 months ago and it didn't have aircon. But it's not a thing here. Lots of shops and places, and we're having a new campus built at the minute, and that's got all aircon. It's going to have aircon in it, but definitely need one. No John Lewis, but maybe Amazon do them. Yeah, you'll get them quite easily. In the shop watching a storm about to hit, heard from friends in the next town that it's a real gully washer. Gully washer, I love that. Is that a Guinness? Oh, 24 blue wolves. I wish it was a Guinness. But it looks like a Guinness on this, doesn't it? It's in a pint glass as well. It's Pepsi Max Cherry. And it's the last of it. So I was drinking some whilst I was listening to Robin in his live, and I thought, I'll top it up. So I've used the last of it. No Cuppa beverage on this hot day. I'm having classic old-fashioned popsicles. Yeah, it's not the weather, is it, for a hot drink? Not tonight. I just couldn't do it. No ceiling fans, face. No. I do have a tower fan, but it's really noisy. It's probably about 15 years old now. And it's in front of where I sit, so that calls me when I'm sat, reading or watching telly or YouTube or whatever. But while I'm here, I mean, if I put this on, I don't want it to run out though, because if I put that on, is that too noisy? I could really have a listen, I suppose. Noisy? I could really have a listen, I suppose. Noisy? I could really have a listen, I suppose. Just going to keep hearing that repeatedly. But anyway, no, you're saying. But anyway, cheeky cold beer. Lights up as well. That tells you how much charge you've got when you need to put it back on charge. Anyway, you will have seen that the title of today's Cuppa Catch Up and Cards, because I was contemplating this morning. Well, actually, I sat in town, but I sat in the shade because I had to be up early. I didn't get to walk my friend's dogs or anything because I'd got every 5 years we have to have an electrical test. And there's been a bit of a drama over it. I won't go into it, but it resulted in me putting a formal complaint in about it. And they said they were coming today, and they gave me 2 days' notice, and they said anytime between 8 a.m. and 12 noon. Anyway, they got here about 9:25. So I was up at 6, showered and all that sort of stuff, made sure access was available for all plug sockets and that sort of thing. And they came and they said it could take up to 3 hours. Well, it only took an hour. And so I went to mint chocolate chip ice cream. So I went to the barber's and had a nice pamper session. And then a friend messaged and said, I'm in town if you fancy a cold drink. So we went to 200 degrees. We didn't have a 200 degrees. I had a cold brew and a bit of a walk around town. And then I came back. Well, I said goodbye to my friend, and I sat and had another one at Starbucks outside. I had a tiramisu frappuccino, which was lovely. I sat in the shade in the square, just watching the world go by. They're erecting the beach at the minute. We have a beach come to the square, fairground rides and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, what should I talk about tonight on Cuppa? And everything I've had in new, I've shown, because they're the decks that Cheryl had sent. It's going to be a doozy next week. Next week's spotlight. If you remember, last month it was a little bit light on decks. No, not this month. So look out for that next week. But anyway, I thought, well, I could do a bit of a Q&A, and then thought, well, why don't I come up with some questions and ask you guys, and we can have a go at answering them together. Tarot related, spiritual related type questions. I've typed, so all afternoon, I sat and thought about the questions. I think I've got 12. I sat and thought about the questions, and then I took some notes as well on my responses to them. And then I typed each question. Someone screamed. Each question I typed into here as well, so it'll come up on the screen. But I thought we could all have a bit of a natter using a prompt. Oh no, said Sandra. What's the matter, Sandra? Only 2 days of hot for traditional British summer. Yeah, I do have the gloss ones. And I think I had the Pams first. I had Pam A, B, C, D. And then Conrad did the roses and lilies. And he was going to send me, he said, oh, but the boxes are matte. And I just knew I wouldn't be able to live with that. So I'd end up buying all these boxes again in matte. And he says, tell you what, I'll do you a roses and lilies in gloss so that they all match. So they're all there. My roses and lilies, Pam A, B, C, and D. Is there anywhere to swim in Nottingham? A public pool or fountain to frolic in? We have a fountain in the square, but it was switched off after COVID and it never went back on. But I did see a report online saying that it was going to switch it back on. And yeah, you get loads of kids and people running through that. It was designed by the same architect who designed the Princess Diana Memorial Fountain in that London. I still haven't bought all the ones from the last spotlight. On your email, I only put half the decks as I got bored doing the order. I did wonder, because Cheryl was saying, well, there's about 16, and then I've got the, what are they called? It's gone out of my head. You said, I've got 16 and then 3, and I was thinking 19 decks, but we're not going to do 19 decks. We will choose which ones that we think you guys will want to see, and then I'll do walkthroughs of the others anyway over the weeks. But yeah, I think there was about 9 on the email, and I thought, well, I know there's more than that. 16. How much do you think I get for a kidney? Hello, Fresh Petal. Dumb question, Simon. Do you meditate every day? No, I don't. I wish I could say yes, I do. I don't chant every day. I don't meditate every day. But I do spend some time every day in quiet reflection, because my card spread in the evenings is a reflection. It's not a meditation in that sense of the word, but I need to do more meditations. I do like solitude, and I do like sitting in contemplation. Even today, even though it was when I sat out there, it was 86 degrees, and I sat in the shade with my cold drink, just watching the world. But I was very, what's the word? I felt very calm, very relaxed, just being present and watching the world go by. I really like that. I didn't start yet. I phase out. That's okay. It's like, I used to call it like traffic control. You know, you think of a busy, what do you call them? Intersections or roundabouts, as we have over here, with lots of traffic in all different directions. That's our thoughts. And then all of a sudden the lights change to red and everything just stops. and you just have to get to that place where everything just stops. And then if the odd car starts to move again, it's okay. It's just take it back to the stop position, controlling the traffic. Looking forward to the reveal, Cheryl. I can't wait to see what's in the box for Spotlight. Let me open the comments on here. I can't believe I haven't done that yet. Looking forward. Oh, yeah, I read that. Beautiful analogy. All right, so I'm going to open the... oh, mind if I open the chat there? I've got to have... Maybe I'll get my phone. Let's get my phone. I've got three devices on the go. I've got my laptop, my iPad, and my phone, and I need all three to be able to do this. Right, let's go. CC&C questions. Gosh, did you hear that? Pop this here to prop my phone up. And then, so I'll put the prompt up and we can all have a go at answering them, if that's okay. So, banners. Question 1 for us to have a chat about. And we might not get through all 12, but if you could have a Cuppa with any tarot archetype, who would it be and why? So I put that one in first because this is Cuppa and catch up, isn't it? Cuppa, catch up and cards. And we have a Cuppa together every Saturday, 7 p.m. UK time, wherever it is time with you. And we come together and we hold this space and we talk tarot, divination, spirituality, and we have a Cuppa of each other. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to find out who people would have a Cuppa with from the tarot? So I think most people would guess that I would say the Hermit. And that's not just because of what I was talking about, about me enjoying solitude and introspection and things like that. But to have a deep, meaningful chat over a Cuppa with the Hermit, chatting about the nature of inner truth, spiritual growth, that sort of thing, and the importance of walking your own path. So that's kind of where my mind goes to. But also, wouldn't it be cool to have a Cuppa with the devil? And maybe I'm being a bit tongue-in-cheek, but if we're having a Cuppa, I'd be like, okay, spill the hot, juicy tea as we're having that Cuppa. And hopefully he'll teach me how to break free from the chains of responsibility, but still be able to keep the perks. But yeah, maybe the Hermit and the devil. Would the Hermit and the devil want a cup of tea together? I mean, it's just an aspect of us all, isn't it, really? So let's see what you guys are saying. Where are we? The moon. I'm a night owl. Beth would like it. Hi, Beth, by the way, would like a cup of the Empress. MA with the star. Rachel with the moon. O with temperance. Golden with death. Nika would have a drink with the devil. A cup of absinthe. Ferdiad says the lobster from the tower. Forever We're After the High Priestess. Marita, I'd speak with the Empress and address a few concerns. Twig, I thought of the devil straight away. Lobster from the moon. Yeah, the devil, because I want to know how to learn to face my dark sides and see the evil in all things to avoid it. Page of Pentacles for Will. I love learning, growing, and I'm feeling... Let me get them up on it. I just know I'm going to have to keep jumping backwards and forwards between... And the comments are really hard to navigate on this. Really hard to navigate. So I don't want to miss anybody. So I would Page of Pentacles. I love learning, growing, and feel I'm a good messenger, and I want to be grounded and connected to the earth and organized. Vasco says Empress and the Devil. I'd have my Cuppa with the Empress because she'd supply cushy seating in the garden. Letty says, for me, it would have to be the Queen of Swords. So many reasons. How to bring clarity to my words. In reality, I would get words muddled. Temperance for Dawn. See, I'm already struggling to use the wheel. It's just it goes in every direction. I don't know where I am now. So annoying. No, every time I'm scrolling up, it's jumping which is a pain because I want to be able to get your comments, or I can go upwards. Yes, Pamela. Yeah, Page of Cups is still my significator card. High Priestess. Hermit, Empress, Justice, the Moon. Kathy says the Moon as well. And the Crustacean hanging out with the Moon after a coffee. It's really annoying. It's just jumped again and I'm right back at the bottom. So I'll do what I can with the comments, but EV Mux needs to sort it out because it's not very good. All right. So next prompt then is number 2, which is, have you ever had a tarot reading that completely changed your perspective or your path? So a tarot reading that's really made you kind of stop in your tracks and either change the path or course that you're on, or change your whole perspective about something. I've had a few. That sounds like I've had a few. It's not Guinness. I do remember one where a tower card kept coming up and I thought I knew better. And then that played out and I was like, in future, I'm really going to start to listen. And I also did consulted the tarot about having a change in career, a huge change. Which took me on a completely different course. In a nutshell, yes. And hello, Gypsy Soul. Nice that you can join us. Vasco says no. That's absolutely fine. Hello, Butterfly. Nice to see you. So this was prompt number 2, which was, have you ever had a tarot reader that completely changed your perspective or your path? See, I can see a comment on there, but it's not appeared on here yet. Rachel says, yes, just yesterday. I was finally able to put something to bed that I'd honestly been kicking myself so much over for years. Wow, that's a huge shift, Rachel. That's a really huge shift, especially when you've been kicking yourself about it for years, and now you can shut the door on that and think, right, that's done, and move on. Tea Lady said, yes, the reading got me started on my path, which is great. Unfortunately not, said Dawn. Tricia said no, but I could probably do with one now. Rob says, yes, I need to stand up for myself more and listen to my intuition. Yeah, it's what we tell other people all the time, isn't it? Particularly when we're tarot readers, or even not, just general advice. But I'm a brilliant advice giver, but I'm terrible at taking advice. Oh, no, that's not fair. I'm not terrible at taking advice. I'll listen and I'll thank people for their advice, but it tends to go in this way and come out this way. Had many light bulbs with tarot. Twigger's never had a tarot reading. MA, not yet. Will says, maybe not one reading, but over time combined. Yeah. Hopefully one day. Hello, English Witch. Marita says, my card started telling me about events happening in my life. I started feeling like it was connected to the universe. Artemis is open to it. None has stood out. Wow, Nadine was saved from a dangerous situation. Yeah, well, and it's good that you listened, because some won't, myself included, in the past. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to click it straight off again. A few readings in a row with Guyan and 2 other tarot that said I need meditation and inner reflection. Started 2 times a day in meditation, and it was just what I needed for clarity and energy. That's brilliant. Let me try going this way. Once had a reading from Tanji that absolutely blew my mind. Brilliant. Dawn says, actually, I was told to go self-employed, which was just a dream. Excuse me, which gave me more confidence and hope. I used to go to a card reader, but this last poor reading convinced me to stop wasting money buying a deck of cards and doing my own readings. Yeah. I mean, why not? Absolutely. I don't go to tarot readers. I have. You know, if I'm really in a situation, I've been to them, but I haven't been to one for about, 6 years. I went to a bookstore, was struggling with the health, and the cards told me to stop, look around, and change everything. Wow. Random person on a train. I love those moments. Never heard about tarot, and after that, I start my own path. Chewy says, there was one reading in my life which changes my thoughts about me and my life situation at the point at that time. Great. So many people playing along, which is brilliant. Love it when that happens. First time I read with Everyday Witch, my tarot path perspective was changed in 4 different archetypes, which totally changed the way I read them. So that situation then is not just change your path or whatever, but how you read tarot, full stop, which is brilliant. I'm terrible at using my advice. What is the question topic? So it's question time is the subject matter, and the question that we're looking at the moment is, have you ever had a tarot reading that completely changed your perspective or your path? And there's oh gosh, I just threw myself out the studio. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to move on just because of how many we've got to get through. So, question 3. What's a tarot card that used to confuse or intimidate you, but now feels like an old friend? So, a tarot card that used to intimidate me is the moon. And when I say intimidate me, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, it was just the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Ambiguity. It's ambiguity. Because, when it comes to the luminaries, the star, I got that straight away. Yeah, light at the end of the tunnel. We know where we're going with that. The sun, hello. But this, until I got my head around it about that sort of emotional depth and the shifting light. But I used to find it quite unnerving. When it used to come up in a reading, I think, oh, not the moon card again. But eventually I saw it as a call to trust my intuition, and not fear, not to fear the unknown, because, fear is something has been a lifelong battle for me, but to surrender to the unknown, because there are things that we don't have control over. There are things that we don't see fully, and you just have to accept that will come in time. That clarity will come in time, and it's that, like I said, that call to trust. So let's have a look at the comments. Thank you, Butterfly, for popping it in. MA says the Hierophant took me ages. Yeah, the Hierophant is a challenge, or can be a challenge. Ferdiad says Judgment can be intimidating. The Tower got to be the Death card. All of the 7s in the minor, still working on it. It's interesting because I'm going to talk about a 7 in a little bit later, so I get where you're coming from with that. Devil still scares me, but how can we be scared by that guy? Come on. I'm still not sure I understand the moon fully. Yeah, I think it is one of probably 3 cards that I was like, when it come up in a reading, it was like, the moon. But once I got my head round, it's about trust. I just got to trust my own intuition. The Tower is worrying. Tamoya says, I'm not sure if this is from the prompt previous. Tamoya might be a little bit behind. Yeah, that was prompt 2, wasn't it? No cars in sight. Wow. Used to fear the Tower. We've got a few people saying Death, Tower. Death, Tower, and Devil seem to be very popular. Court cards. Devil, Death. The Tower, but I still wouldn't say it's an old friend. The Hierophant gives me the icks. Hierophant. Wow, so many. There's 114 people here, so I'm not surprised that. Not surprised there's so many responses. I actually like the Devil card in Morgan Greer deck. I think it's fascinating. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's a very different perspective, isn't it? Okay, so number 4. Number 4 is: have you ever drawn the same card repeatedly over a period of time? What was the message the universe was shouting to you? I put this in because this has been happening a lot recently. And for me, it's the Hanged Man. This card has really been, people talk about stalker cards. I wouldn't say it's a stalker card, but it's come up a lot. And it's in my Midori, which is in my work bag. When I write down at the beginning, because when I do my card spread in the morning, I write them down in my Midori, because my Midori goes with me throughout the day. So it's a reminder as well. And when I've looked back over the last couple of weeks, the Hangman has come up so many times. And the way I've took from that, and I think it's more work related, so I'm not going to go too in depth with it, is just to stop pushing a situation, and just, if there is a bit of discomfort, to sit with that discomfort and allow my perspective to shift. And I'll probably, and do you know what? Even if you're sitting there for a while, and you feel like you're in limbo with it, that's fine. That's what the Hangman's about. It's about, stop trying to force the situation or trying to push for something to happen. Sometimes it's about sitting, particularly if it's a situation where you are feeling discomfort or kind of an unease, and allow the situation to play out, and just see how you change to adapt. Your perspective changes to adapt. This is annoying having to keep going between this and the comments. Right, so I'm going to go from Butterfly's comment, because, and thank you for doing this, Butterfly. Stalker cards is what we call them, happens often. Yeah. 10 of Swords, says Elspeth. When it stopped appearing, I knew I was okay, fully healed. That's really cool. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. King of Pentacles, says MA. Vasco says yes, King of Swords. Well, what's that telling you, Vasco? Do you think? I mean, depends what it is you're asking, what your question is. The Fool for Golden. Sandra Lights, the Hanged Man. Yeah, it gets you to think about things, doesn't it? It's literally turning things on its head, and like, oh, actually, this is about my reality and the way I'm seeing things. 3 of Cups. Elspeth got, before the 10, I got a lot of 4 of Swords. 2 of Pentacles for Ferdiad. Will says, and then yesterday I had 3 stacks of papers, books, cards fall off tables at different times. Wow. Don't tell me you pulled the tower, did you, before that? Let's pick out a couple more. Death card for Robin. Watch where you step. You always take everything literally. What was the last question? It was Question 4, which is, have you ever drawn the same card repeatedly over a period of time? What was the message the universe was trying to tell you? 8 of Pentacles for Holly. King of Wands. I thought you said King of Swords or Queen of Swords, was it? The Devil. Still got to accept. I did mess up when shuffling cards. Hi, Adam. Good to see you. The Sun. Wow, so many. 8 of Swords. Wheel of Fortune. Hello, Caro, and welcome. Saw the stream and wanted to hang out. Well, you're very welcome here. King of Pentacles, very much about living in my own head. Wow, they just jumped. Absolutely. Hangman. 4 Pentacles when you're pregnant. Okay. Lots of responses there. So have a sup of my Coke. And we'll look at prompt 5. So prompt 5 is, if you could create one tarot card to reflect your personal life or worldview, how would it look? Now, mine, and now this took me a while, and then I remembered there was a tag a few years back, quite a few years back, about if there was a 20-second card in the deck and you could design it, what would it be? And I had to go digging, but it's still true for me. It would be called the Bridge. Because the bridge, there's so many times, because the question was around, where is it? If you could create to reflect your worldview, how would it look? A bridge is something that takes you from one place to another. And I think that would be a brilliant card in a tarot deck anyway. And my life has always been, or the way my brain processes when I look back over my life, because I do a lot of reflecting, is that there's always been a situation that I've found myself in that has led me to the next situation, or one life experience to the next life experience, whether that's in my career or in my spiritual practice. So yeah, it would be a bridge, and it would probably have a figure walking over that bridge. I can almost see it in Pixie's art style of this bridge with a blue sky and the yellow sun in the distance, and this figure walking over the bridge. But for me, it would be the bridge. What say you lot? The dyslexic squirrel. Not the happy squirrel, the dyslexic squirrel. A tree. I like that. Tree rooted to the ground and reaching to the sky. Old, weathered, and new plants crawling up it. That you've given that some thought, Elspeth, haven't you? And would the card just be called the tree? And like mine's called the bridge. A bridge card would be amazing. Well, if I ever create my own tarot deck, it will have card 22, the bridge. Yeah. And even where tarot takes you, from the physical to the mystical or metaphysical, and I suppose a bit like temperance, but one foot rounded in reality, the other in the realm of spirit. It's that bridge. Beth says, illustration of a woman's lap with a little dog being petted on it. Six of Pentacles. A train. People staying on until the end or leaving part way. Wow, that's life, isn't it? Did you ever watch This Is Us? That reminds me of that. I think there's an analogy at the end about the train that pulls into different stations, and sometimes people get off and they've gone, you never see them again, and other times new people get on. And we're on that train from birth to the grave with different people getting on board and departing. The web, says Caro, where everything is connected together and you tug, and if you tug one part, it makes everything else twitch. Oh, one part, if you tug one part. I see it like a person squatting in the centre of a web as they wait. Indira's web as well, look that up, where every connecting part of the web has a jewel. And when you move one jewel, the light makes all the other jewels move. And that's about self and the environment and how every action has a reaction. So I like that the web. So good, Simon. Always pay attention to bridges. So many bridges in samurai movies. I'd have a card with a hole punched in the middle to look or fall through. You could even just have the hole without having to punch a hole in your card. You could draw a hole. Adam says the Magician and Death. Oh, this one is about creating a new card though, Adam, rather than one that already exists. Elspeth says life. The library, a place where people can gather, sit comfortably, share information and resources. Yeah, and that wealth of knowledge that's available. That's a tough one. The reclining reader. It would show a world without money where people do for each other to support and be kind. A peace card, a world peace card, yeah. These cards would make an amazing oracle deck, says Elspeth. A white card, the big unknown. Cheryl says the step. A step can take us in many directions, but don't be downhearted if that step takes us back. Oh, it's like snakes and ladders. The storm, you have to walk through it, but better days ahead. The storm would be a good one, actually. We don't have the elements we've got the elements, but we don't have things like weather, do we, in the tarot, like a storm. We've got the tower, which is I guess a storm of sorts, because there's the lightning bolt, but that could be kind of like, particularly where tarot origins were, it could have been seen as divine intervention. But yeah, storm, I like that. A rose, the ball, as in for dancing. Hello Twixt, the explorer, an open bird cage with a blue feather left behind in it, symbolizing freedom or leaving something bad behind. I like that. The caged bird has flown. Freedom, yeah. A woman holding keys like a hermit. Indira's web, yeah, that's it, Marita. I've got that printed and laminated somewhere. A flower that grows through concrete. Robin says a ladder card. pair of escalators. There's so many here. If I could create a character, be the veil. So I've had so many paranormal mediumship experiences. The veil would be a good one, actually. It'd be a very good one. There ought to be somebody create 100-card tarot deck. Add another 22 cards, double the major arcana with some of these. That'd be really cool, wouldn't it? The tonic. Yeah. Element Simon Glastonbury. That's a different kind of element. Cake. That's like the there is a food tarot, isn't there? A mirror card. A deck with these suggestions would be awesome. Okay, next prompt then. Prompt number 6. How we do for time? We're all right. We're about halfway through. Prompt number 6 is: which tarot card do you think is most misunderstood? And what truth do people often miss about it? So, somebody said earlier about the sevens. And for me, it is the 7 of Swords. And I took some notes on this. I want to make sure I get it right. So I put, it often gets depicted as sneaky or deceitful. But I think I did initially, but I've kind of moved with this. So I often see it as a card of strategic self-preservation. Sometimes you have to move quietly, take only what serves you, and leave behind what no longer aligns. Especially if you're in a situation that doesn't honor your whole truth or your authentic self. So sometimes it's about, having to just take what serves you, move swiftly, and preserve yourself. Self-preservation. Leave behind what no longer serves you and situations that no longer serve you. And when you think about the suit of swords as well, so that's what I came up with. Let's have a look at yours. Let's go to butterflies as a starting point. So death and devil. Elspeth was also going to say 7 of Swords. I haven't heard what Chris has to say about it. I'll have to try and, if he was here, I'd ask him, but where did he talk about it? Maybe the swords belong to him and he's taken them back. Yeah. Not so much about trickery, more advice, and get your defense in early. Adam says, I think the devil, without doubt, is misunderstood. People freaking out by it. Yeah, and we talked about the devil when we were saying about our Cuppas. Yeah. 100% 7 of Swords. The Hanged Man, says Chewy. Judgment in the majors and 3 of Swords in the minors. They sees it the same way. The Tower and 10 of Swords. Yeah. Yeah, particularly if it being a 10. 7 of Swords, Helper, Healer card. Lots of people talking about 7 of Swords. 10 of Cups. And people thinking it's the happy ending card. That's interesting. How do you tend to, if you're doing a reading then, Twixt, and 10 of Cups comes up for you, I know it's going to depend on the situation, the question, and the cards around it. But generally then, if you think that most people see that as a happy ending, how do you interpret it generally? Wheel of Fortune, yeah. The World card can be open to misinterpretation. Tower again, says Rachel. 7 of Cups can be very misunderstood. 3 of Cups, 4 of Wands, 7 of Swords, Emperor and Justice. There's a lot here. I have a friend that gets freaked out every time she gets a 5. We spend a lot of time looking at more ways to see them. Robin says 9 of Cups always looks self-satisfied and piggy to me. Not John Travolta then. 24 says I'm utterly useless at reading the minors. I'm sure you're not. Just don't overthink it. Just look at the images. Caro always sees the figure in the 9 of Cups as arrogant too. All right, so prompt 7. Have you ever had a deck that ghosts you? One that suddenly stopped working or went quiet? And it doesn't happen often, I've got to say. But I put this one in because this deck was talked about in the Hermit's Cave Facebook group just a few days ago. And it made me think, yeah, that deck, and it's going to surprise a lot of people, but it's the Shadowland Tarot. And I love it. Now, normally, when I'm done with a deck, when I think I'm at that point where I'm like, right, okay, I think we've gone as far as we're going to go, I put it back in its box, in its original box, and put it either here, where it's a favourite-ish deck, or it goes into the back room with the other few hundred. This one just stopped communicating with me. I loved it for the longest time. And then I started doing readings with it, and I was like, I'm really not getting what you're telling me. But I haven't put it back in the box because I think there will come a time again where, it's a bit like when you've got a really good friend and a couple of years might pass and you haven't seen each other. Then you meet up for coffee or they come and stay or whatever. And it's just like you pick up again where you left off. I'm hoping that will happen with this deck. I mean, this is still in order because this is from the walkthrough. I have 2 copies of Shadowland Tarot. But yeah, so it just stopped a couple of years ago, and then I've done a Throwback Thursday with it, hence why it's in order, and just stopped talking to me. So mine's the Shadowland. And I'm not going to force a reconnection. I'll know when. I'll know. I'll hear that little small voice, and I'll think, yeah, I'm going to consult the Shadowland on that. Where's that one? There we are. It's because it's wanting capitals. I nearly went past it. 404. Yes, it's in the closet. And when I tried to use it, all I kept thinking was 404, which is the error you get when you can't find a web page. You're not going to tell us what deck it is then, Caro? Not yet, says Rachel, which is great. I think the most misunderstood... Oh, that's back to another one. Impressionist Tarot, says Face. Butterflies always wanted the Shadowlands. Adam hasn't had one that's gone quiet. Hi, Early Ritual, nice to see you. The Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reed. Sassoribito. By hiding one of the cards so I couldn't use it. Then after 2 years, the card reappeared and we're friends again. I'm like, because when you said that, I was like, really? But then a lot of people have said that about my Shadowland, I suppose. Particularly because I'm such a fan of Monica Badurski's work as well. Chewy says Earth Tarot doesn't work for me at the moment, but I put it away for a big reunion. You'll get that big reunion, I'm sure. Robin said, I had a deck ghost me and then it went missing. It must be in my apartment somewhere, but it's as if the fairies have... Do you know when that happens? You've had to rebuy it. Tarot Nova. Did you lend? Oh, no, you wouldn't lend it out, would you? But Hanson Roberts shut you down. It's weird, isn't it, when that happens? A couple of your Carol Hertzer decks. Wow. Yeah, more being out of sync with you. Tower of the Hidden Realm. I get that. I do get that. That would probably be my second choice. And I just couldn't connect to Witch Sister, and I don't know why. It just didn't happen. Intuitive Night Goddess. Lightseer. I go in and out with Lightseers. Sometimes I think, yeah, I'm not sure. And I'll swap it up. If I use some decks too much, they need a rest. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Number 8. Where are we? Number 8. Okay. I like this one. So 8 is, what is your favorite tarot card to see in a reading? Not because it's positive, but because it always brings you clarity. I thought I put do not. I've got do not disturb on my... Does that mean somebody can't ring me, but they can still text? Because I always put do not disturb on. It's thrown me off now. Card you love to see in a reading. It's going to surprise you, I think. It's not a lot of people do, but for me, it's the Judgment card. The Judgment card for me really holds a mirror up. It gives me that sort of cut through of any sort of noise, and it's a spiritual wake-up call for me, and I like it when I see it because it's clear and it's positive. It doesn't sugarcoat, and it gives me a real clear sense of where I stand. Yeah, I just find it really, really positive. It's not passive at all, this card. And it makes me realise that, I mean, literally, if you look at it, it's telling you to rise. It's telling you to stand up, clear, rise. 9. Oh, no, I was going to 9. I hadn't even looked at your responses. That text just really thrown me out. Sorry, guys. Where are we up to? There we go. So we'll go from here. I think people are still on about the... so Rachel says the Priestess and the Empress. The Magician. Feels like you're on the right path. So that's that clarity bit, that because the prompt is not just because it's seen as a positive card. I think all tarot cards can be seen as a positive card. Even the Tower, dare I say it, because Tower reminds us that, we just need to rebuild, but on a firmer foundation so that we can withstand the external factors. Queen of Wands for Emma, 3 of Pentacles for Chewie, 9 of Wands for Golden, 6 of Wands for Kathy, High Priestess or the Hermit for Sarah, Queen of Cups, the Aces for Adam, the Hermit for Gypsy Soul, 4 of Wands. I wonder if I can just press the down. No, you can't even press the down button. The Moon card for clarity. That's interesting. The Star, 7 of Wands, 4 of Pentacles. Judgment for me is about discernment. Twix also says Judgment. The Sun, I mean, that's a card for clarity as well, isn't it? King of Cups, Robin's, no, it says Soul card then, Life Path card, Significator card, Judgment, Queen of Swords, lots of queens coming up. Queen of Cups, 8 of Pentacles, 6 of Swords, Hangman again, Sandra, for you. Page of Swords, the World, 9 of Pentacles, the Star. If there's a will, there's a way. No worries, Beth. See you soon. Enjoy your lesson. All right. So, number 9. We're nearly there. So, number 9 is, if your shadow self could write a postcard, what do you think it would say? We talked a lot about shadow work, and I just showed a deck specifically for shadow work. I'll put it onto the, I can't see where I put it now. It should be on my, it's the Witcher's Shadow Work Oracle. I've just showed it this week. So this is why I put this question in there. And there was a tag a few years ago about you had to respond to it from your shadow talking. So the shadow thing really intrigues me. So I've put, and I did this kind of like writing a journal entry, really. Stop pretending you always need to be strong. It's okay to learn, to wobble, to ask. You don't have to be the light for everyone. Just don't forget to keep a little warmth for yourself too. Brought in the hermit aspect there. Did you notice? But yeah, and I think that's my shadow self really is, and a lot of it's to do with my upbringing. Not that I had a bad upbringing. I didn't. I had a wonderful upbringing, but we were always, you couldn't show weakness. Boys don't cry, all that sort of stuff, and you've got to be strong, and sometimes it's okay to lean. It's okay to wobble. And it's okay to ask sometimes if you need support. You need that little helping hand. So, okay. So there we go. Ferdiad, stop buying more RWS decks. Is that for me? Is that what you think my shadow self would say? What a question, says Michelle. Shadow self talking, frightening. Be honest to yourself. It's just going to mail me a picture of the Eight of Swords. Says MA. Just let it go, says Golden. Stop caring about what others think. Get your own life. Lots of expletives. I like it. It's okay to go at your own pace. Adam says, always be 100% with yourself, no matter how blunt or rude. Don't pretend to be better than you are. So you're not buying into the whole fake it till you make it then. Jennifer says, well, stop burning yourself out because you think you're the only value because you're a service to others. Yeah, I get that. Naughty postcard. Like those cheeky seaside postcards from the 1970s. Don't be too soft on yourself. Get up, you lazy ass. Sounds like a future journal prompt. Needs more space than a postcard. Don't compare journeys. That's a good one, Claire. You're braver and stronger than you think. The most powerful person in the room is you. Postage due. No need to worry, be yourself. Good, let it go. You're here to live a life. My shorter self would probably say, don't worry about anything, as every problem. Don't be afraid, step by step. Yeah, the journey complete in a day. Twigger says, probably tell me, stop being such an argumentative so-and-so. Assert those boundaries. No is a complete sentence. To hell with them if they can't take a joke. I like it. Okay, next one. Number 10. What's your spiritual comfort zone? And what's something you've done to step out of it? I don't see, my spiritual comfort zone is to be in a quiet place, like I mentioned earlier, to be quite reflective. My practice is very solo, whether that's with my journal writing, my tarot spreads. If I've stepped out of it in recent years, the main thing is probably this, to expand it outwards, because the reason why I'm called the Hermit's Cave is because this is my cave. But also, there was a time in my life when, I've been very honest about it, and I think it's important to talk about these things. When I had a breakdown in 2001 and I didn't leave home for 3 years, and people had to shop for me. I couldn't work for that period of time. Back then, you didn't have caller ID on your phone, so I had a little box that was wired up to the phone, so I knew exactly who was ringing, because the phone ringing would set me off, or an intercom on the door, because I couldn't just answer a door blindly. And so I've always, since that point, I would go to work. I got better over time, and I went to work, but I always cocooned away because this is my safe space. So even though it's a virtual world, that virtual world became a physical one as well, because I've met so many people from the community. I've even traveled to New York and met up with tarot people, and I've met Sandra and Becca and Kelly Bear and lots of people. So it's expanded in that way. I've come out of my cave a little bit. And then readings were just for myself, and then I started reading for others. So that's probably that's probably where I've come out of it. But we will look at what others have said. We're still on postcards. There we go. Very similar, MA. My comfort zone is very solitary. Anytime I go to a group spiritual thing, it's a major step. I stopped doing it because I used to go to Buddhist groups and things like that, and I just found that I'd be all right while there's a teacher talking and I'm sat there. But as soon as people got into groups, if they said, right, or it was the tea break, I would just sit there, and everybody else seemed to have no issues at all forming alliances and friendships, and I would just sit there like I was invisible. Strange. So in the end, I thought, well, it's an energy I'm giving off, as in don't approach. So doing readings, world events, paranormal, big questions, total silence, to clubbing in Ibiza. There's a contrast. A paradox, the hermit, but also a teacher and leader. Actually getting into tarot again. Just splashing around, figuring it out, doggy style. That's not an issue. Do it. That will work for you. I don't want to sound repetitive, but this is what happened to me too, Simon. No, it's not repetitive. Many of us are in the same boat, and I think the internet, it's a two-edged sword, isn't it? Double-edged sword, I should say, because it's got its pluses, but it's also got its minuses. But one of the benefits of it is that those of us who are hermits have a bit of an outlet into a bigger community. I am private about my spiritual life. Recently, I joined a witchy group of wonderful women and a full moon ceremony. Well, that's really pushing yourself forward. Being in my own world, speaking to others more than a few sentences. Yeah. Your hermit card sums you up a lot, Simon. I consider myself the magician. It can be very random. Appear, disappear. Need my space. I shock people with profound statements out of the blue. Metaphor, Simon, your hermit's cave is a house of cards. Hufflepuff and visit Gryffindor. Tower is really a bridge. Yeah. Doing spell work for myself as well as spell work for others. I read that as super sexy. How did you come up with these questions, Simon? They're super sexy. It's because I wish you could see it. Where the word sexy is, there's a little bubble that says 1 minute. And I think it means it was 1 minute ago, because the next one now says 9 seconds. And that's Chris. Hello, everyone. 9 seconds ago. So it cut out the bottom of the word savvy and it looked like an X. They're super sexy. This is what my afternoon's been since about 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock till about 6 o'clock, till Robin went on live. Hello, Chris, by the way. I'm coming towards the end. But yeah, so that was question 10. 2 left. Question 11 is, do you believe that certain tarot decks or tools, because I know people are here that are kind of just starting out with tarot, but they might have other divinatory tools or spiritual tools, find you when you need them? Do you believe that certain tarot decks or tools find you when you need them? My answer to this is yes, and I'll give an example when I've just cooled down a second. The beautiful shimmering veil is one that found me at the right time. This came to me at the start of lockdown. So I can remember it very clearly. Now, when we look back on lockdown, some people look back on lockdown with affection because they got to spend time with their loved ones and their families, and they didn't have to go out to work, and there was real bonding and all that sort of stuff, which is great. But when you live on your own and your only outlet is going to work, visiting family and friends, and suddenly you're told you must not leave the house, it's a very different reality. And there was a lot of fear back then. If people can remember and go back 5.25 years ago, you know, in the daily news briefings in the UK, you used to get every day a news briefing. I think at 6 o'clock, the Prime Minister would come on with his, chief of World Health Organization and all that sort of stuff. And a vaccination seemed years away. And all you were getting every day is the death toll going up. And you didn't know that, you know, if you got it, you was going to survive it. No vaccination, death toll going up. Today, 3,331 people have died. Today, 4,000. So, and it just kept going up and up and up. And then you was allowed out once a week to go and do your shopping. I felt, and that's why I did quarantine streams to connect. This deck arrived and just was such a healing tool, such a powerful spiritual friend at a time where everything was uncertain and fearful and isolating, that this deck just gave me hope, and it reminded me of I don't know, this is going to sound strange, but even if the worst happened, that there's hope, there's a beauty, there's a universe out there, and not just our world. You know, and for me and my family, the worst did happen. You know, my mum passed away from having COVID. But the shimmering veil just, I don't know, it was just such a beautiful deck that came at such the right time. And when I think back to lockdown and I think about my tarot practice, this deck always comes straight to the forefront of my mind, because this is almost like my lockdown deck, the deck that gave me hope and got me through. So yes, I do believe that certain tarot decks find you when you need them. And this is a treasured deck of mine now. So we'll start here. 100%, says Lily Rose. Yes, 100%. By MA, we've got yes, absolutely. Sandra's yes, I definitely believe the decks and crystals. Yeah, like it said, tools as well. 100%, says Thace. Golden says yes, and crystals. Caro says, I think things happen when they need to happen. Definitely, says Ferdiad. Tarot transformation for Twix. Witch sister for Tea Lady. It was scary, Rachel. I don't live alone, but judging how I struggled when Sandy was away at work, I can only imagine how people living alone felt. Yeah. It was very scary, says Sandra. And in some ways, when I look back now, even though it's only 5 years ago, it went on for like a year and a half, didn't it? Went on till into early 2022, nearly 2 years. It just feels like a dream now. When I think back to like when we went back to work and we had to have a whole room set up for testing everybody, it was so fast how everything, the vaccine and the testing and everything else came in. Tarot of Oneness for Forever. Oracle of Portals. I really looked forward to your streams during COVID. I love your walks along the beautiful streets. That was allowed out. Yeah, I think that was around the end of May. It was like this as well. It was really hot. Tektite. I used to have a piece of tektite around my neck. And then I remember saying to a friend, who's a good friend, but always takes the piss out of everything. And I said, what is that? It's a piece of tektite. I said, it's from outer space. I said, this has spent millions of years floating through the universe. And he went, millions of years floating through the universe just to end up round your neck. Didn't wear it again. I dabbled with tarot until lockdown, then lost my gran and mum right after. Tarot practice saved me because I live alone. Wow. You're welcome. They helped me as much as they helped you. Twigger says yes. Adam says new era elements. They feel surreal now. They do. Harmonic Oracle. Forever after tarot streams during COVID were also important for me for companionship. Bye, Vasco. A few people have said that, Dawn, that actually COVID brought a renewed passion for tarot. Still dealing with long COVID. Hi, Dustin. Okay, where are we? Okay, so the last prompt. Prompt number 12. We're back on time. If you could create your own spiritual retreat for the community, what 3 activities would be must-haves? So I think you all know mine because it's what I do. So if I'm creating a spiritual retreat, then the day would start off with a tarot meditation of some sort. So meditation circle, but also incorporating tarot, and probably journaling, maybe even some creative art, drawing, etc. During the day, there would be silent nature walks, probably through some lovely woodland forests, because there's nothing more beautiful than being silent in a forest, is there, and listening to all the sounds. And that would be for kind of reconnection, particularly if we've done the meditation and tarot in the morning. And then the evening activity would be a group sharing of some sort. So we'd have tea, we'd have candles lit, incense burning, and then just some reflection on the day, sharing our thoughts, and just opening up and sharing with each other. It's kind of similar to, I used to do something called KB, Keibi, it's a Japanese word, because I used to be a Nichiren Buddhist, SGI, and we used to do KB, which was 8 people, 1 leader, 7 Buddhists, would go and stay in the stately home at Taplow Court, and we would run the organisation for a week. It was like 8 days. You went on a Saturday and left on a Saturday, but so on the Saturday you arrived, the exiting KB team you would shadow them, and then when you were exiting the next Saturday, the incoming KB team would shadow you, and you'd all have distinct jobs. But that was pretty much what we did then. We did Gongyo, which is the chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo in the morning, together as a KB team. We would share something, and then we would do our activities through the day. Then we'd come together for some time to walk around the grounds, which was beautiful, have an evening meal together, and then at the end of the day, we would do evening Gongyo, and then we would share an insight from our practice, or whether it was a little analogy or something that had happened during the day, or a moment of enlightenment or something like that. We would share it. So it's kind of taken from that, really. All right, let's see what people are saying. Oh gosh, let's see what people are saying. We'll go there. Tea and cake. Can't go wrong with tea and cake. Glastonbury. Yeah, it'd have to be in Glastonbury. Yeah, good call, Claire. A bonfire in the evenings. Oh, wouldn't that be lovely? Learning tarot spreads. And then, yes, it would have to be in Glastonbury for sure. Meditation, a swimming pool, and food. Definitely nature. This isn't too loud, is it? Vegan food prep. 8 hour sleep. Wow. All activities invitational and accessible as possible. Absolutely. I'm going to your retreat, old man Ferdiad. I would have to have forest bathing. Spiritual activities, mantras on self-love, deep hugs that last longer than a few seconds, and maybe a controlled group seance in the evening. Wow, you're taking it to another level. All right, so thank you for joining in. That was a lot of fun. All 12 prompts. Oh, now there's a load more. I thought I'd got to the bottom. Sounds perfect, Simon. I won't change a thing. Tarot, Reiki, swimming. No magic mushrooms. Mead. Yeah, but if Sandra's coming, it's got to be a breakfast item, though, if it's mead. Twix used to be SGI as well. Did you ever do KB? Are you in the UK? Did you ever do KB at Taplow Court? They changed it about 20 years ago, didn't they? I think you could just go like 1 day a month now or something, but you used to go for 8 days, and I loved it. I did it 4 times, KB. Potluck with food, we all made, pull a card, journal. Yeah. Wouldn't it be amazing? Ground it. I wonder if it's possible to all, if we could do a retreat somewhere. I own a forest. Wow. Silent journaling together in nature. 1930s microphone. Chris says, drink wine, more wine, sling some cards. A discussion about our most embarrassing moments. Yeah, we've got to have some lightheartedness as well, haven't we? Tea or coffee, bait treats, nature walks, tarot spells. Great prompts today. Thank you. Thank you. Let's pull a tile. Oh, let me take that off as well. What do we think it's going to be today? I think a court. I haven't had a court for a few weeks. Oh, it's not a court. It's a major. And it's a card that we've spoke about many times tonight. Can we guess? Sandra's mentioned it lots as well. It's the Hanged Man. So, what's the Hanged Man going to tell us then for this week? I suppose we ought to build on what we've talked about tonight when we spoke about the Hanged Man. But I don't know. This week, are we feeling a bit bored? Are we stuck in a rut? Then what I would say is it's okay just to be in that space, to, what did we say about surrendering to what is. The Hangman tells us that it's time to, like I say, have that pause, but look at things from a different perspective. Let go. Strange, my little dowsing crystal just fell on the floor. Let go of what no longer serves us. Consider what truly matters, but it will give us a chance to see things as they are. We can't always force situations. Sometimes we have to surrender, take a step back. It's not being defeatist. It's not being idle. It's just being present in the moment and looking at the situation and allowing ourselves to change our way of thinking, our perspective, to then be able to see things for the way that they are. And then we align ourselves to that. The Hangman tells us that it's a space between what was and what's next. Because very often we want to hold on to what was, because what's next is uncertain. We don't have the stability and security in what's next. But what was gives us comfort. All right. Thank you for tonight. It was great. It was good fun. Thank you for playing along. There were so many responses. It was hard to keep up, but it was good too. So yeah, I will be back in the week. I've got a tag I'm going to do, but that will be at some point in the week. Tomorrow I'm on a day trip, and hopefully as part of that day trip we're going to pull in a stone circle as well. So there'll be a vlog either tomorrow night, depending on what time I get back, if not Monday. And then there'll be a tag that I'm doing that I've been giving some thought to in the week. And then Saturday is Spotlight. And as I mentioned earlier, there is a lot of decks. So Cheryl and I are going to have a pre-meeting and have a look at which ones we're going to show. All right. And Butterfly, thank you for typing out all the prompts for everybody, because I soon realized that having all the prompts listed was great, but then when I go back to show the comments, the prompts disappear. So anyway, thanks everyone, and until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.